So what we want to do is we want to actually draw a line string that runs down the center of our duct bank. And this is going to be kind of the basis of creating the utility run and or the trench. So we need to do a little cleanup first. First thing I want to do is I want to turn off the conduit, which are the PVC circular pipes here. So this particular IFC has a layer. I'm going to go ahead and turn that layer off. Basically, we don't need to see those. The next thing we want to do is I want to turn off the shading of these pipes or these beams, or in this case, these banks. So I'm going to select one of the objects. I'm going to right click and choose select similar. That's going to select all of the basically the beams in this case. And we're going to go to our properties window. So you can get to that by clicking on this command here. Once you open it up, you can leave it open and docked like I have over here, so it gives me my tabs. Basically what I want to do here is in my 3D view, I want to turn off wireframe. So I'm left with just the wireframe of the box. I also want to turn off the vault temporarily. So I'm going to come over here, and I know that that's on that layer. Now we can draw a line down the center of this. And this may be the most drawing that you're going to do. It's probably the most tedious spot, but this ensures that you've got a good center line. If you've got CAD data, you could probably use that, but I found this to be the most preferred, or what I would call best practice based on the data that we have. So I'm going to go to the CAD tab, and I'm going to click line string, and we're going to enter in a name. You can call it whatever you want. I do want to put it on a layer, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a layer, and I'm just going to use an underscore, and we're going to call it Centerline of bank. All right, and we'll go ahead and we'll give it a color red. Again, this is all optional, and once you set this up, like I said, if you start this or save this as a template later on, once you're done, then you'll have all this stuff already set up. So this is not something that you would have to do every single time. I'm also going to put it into a group here. So I'm going to create a new group. And that group is just going to be called, I'm going to use underscore again. And by using an underscore, it puts it at the top. So I'm going to say underscore, we'll call it trench construction. All right, so I'm just giving this some structure here. So we'll use that one. We'll click close. And that's going to group some of these layers that I create later on. So I'm going to close this. And I'm going to click OK. So this is going to start my actual creation of my line string. So it's looking for my starting coordinate. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to use a snap. So if I right click, there's a snap called middle of point to point. So this makes it easy for me to select this corner here and that corner there, and it drops in a node right at that particular spot. Now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to right click again, middle of point to point, pick that point there. And this one you can see just by the way the bank comes together, you can pick either one of them. It's going to get it right there, but I'm picking the corner of this one and that one, and you can see that it drops it in the center of that structure. It's a little bit more easier to see. You can see where they intersect. So I'm just going to go ahead and again right click, middle of point to point, and pick that one, and I'm going to pick this one over here, so I'm getting the center there. And then it's going to turn. So basically it's turning at an angle there. Right, so I'm going to come down here. There's another one here. And the reason I'm doing this is because this bank actually has vertical relief to it, right? So it's not one continuous straight run from end to end. There's some breaks in here that have different elevations. So same thing, I'm going to right click and go middle of that point there to this one here. And that's the end. Now, I could come across and continue, but this is actually going to be two separate runs, or not really runs, but two separate sections of pipe, let's say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to new, and it's going to create a new one. Name can be the same, but I'm going to go down here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to right click, middle of point to point, and we'll drop in this one here. Okay. Oops, same thing here. Let's pan down. So I'm using my right mouse button to pan, right click, middle of point to point. I'm going to click this and click there. And then same thing here. We're going to right click, middle of point to point, pick that one, and pick that one. You'll notice that we have another pipe here, right? So again, I can continue with new, and same thing here, right click, middle of point to point. So we're gonna have to make sure when we do this one that we use a different size pipe, right, or different size structure. So you can do this. I would probably do one run at a time, would be my logic here. Getting the center lines in, and you don't have to do this all in one shot. I mean, you can come back and do different ones. So you can see I could just do that one section, and it looks like it goes from that point there to this point here because there's quite a bit of bend in there. And same thing here. We're going to right click, we'll go point to point, and here's the end of this. So right click, middle of point to point, grab that one, and oops, make sure we pick that. So let's grab that corner there, that corner there. Okay, so now we've got the center line basically of that run, which is going to be one continuous trench that we're going to dig. So again, you got to think of this in the form of what are you going to dig, and how you're going to dig it. So like in this here, you may just dig one big swath. If that's the case, then you might want to have a center line run down the middle here between all these banks, or you may dig these banks and these as 4 different trenches. So it's kind of going to depend on what it is that you're going to be out there digging. Okay. So now that we have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can turn this into a utility run, network, and put a trench on it.